right? And so how much of success would you say is mental, and how much is it actually knowing what to do and applying it that way?
Most all of it is mental. Any martial artist will tell, like, now I got to retire many years ago as a heavyweight champion with Karate World Rating System. And by the way, I've been blessed to be voted into the Motivational Speakers Hall of Fame as well as the Black Belt Hall of Fame. But I'm the guy that when I first joined, they used to call me Mr. Baboon. They used to laugh at me. Garrett, I'm not exaggerating. I would trip over my own feet, but I was so committed. So here's oh man, this is something you folks, you got to write down. I'll try to slow it down, but I'm so excited. Garrett, you got a certain energy level too, man. It's pulling out of me. You know?
I'm feeling it.
But here's one of the things I teach people. You got to be committed to the process of being bad or feeling bad for as long as it takes to get good. Oh, let me say that again. You got to be committed to the process of being bad or feeling bad for as long as it takes for the mentor to help you get good. And so, but the key is the mindset, because again, if you don't have the right mindset, you actually will throw in the towel before you hit your success. As a matter of fact, if you don't have the right mindset, you will do the right methods with the wrong mindset, and the lack of energy, my friend, you won't get the same results. And so I couldn't figure out like why this whole training on the mindset, and most people again get it mixed up when they hear meditation. Meditation is not, no, meditation, we would sit down and we would visualize. True meditation is just visualization. So we would visualize ourselves doing the techniques, doing them properly. And as a matter of fact, years later, I read a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz that's just so powerful on the topic. And I was like, wait a minute, that's what we did in the martial arts, right? And so before my meets, before my tournaments, I would visualize this guy kicking at me and me blocking and hitting and the judge calling my points and so forth. And then my hand being raised as a champion and so forth. And over and over and over and over again, we have to do that, my friend. And matter of fact, what we found out and what Maxwell Maltz talked about in his book is between two different basketball teams, one just worked out in their mind and the other physically practiced. And the ones, when they put them together, the ones that worked out just in their mind actually had a little edge of the ones that practice physically. Why? Because when you practice physically, sometimes you make a mistake, right? And you're like, oh man, stupid, what's wrong with you? Come on, Harris, get that right. But the ones in their mind, every time they did it perfectly and did it right. They did it. And so the mind doesn't know the difference. Ooh, this is good, between that which is real and that which is vividly imagined. So when you keep vividly imagining it, the mind actually discharges the energy to the body to accomplish what you've already seen, right? So let me give you something else. So there's some things that only work if you believe in them. There's other things that work whether you believe them or not. However, whenever you're blessed enough to get something that works whether you believe it or not, if you believe in it, it works twice as good.
Wow.
So yeah, the mind, it's a mind thing. As the scripture says, as a man thinketh, so is he, right? Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, that whole book has created more millionaires outside the Bible than anything else. And it's all about mindset.
That's exactly right. And it's funny, man, I attribute a lot of realizations on my own journey to Psycho-Cybernetics. I read that book, and it's, he talks a lot about the self-image, how you see yourself. And do you see yourself as someone succeeding, or do you see someone or do you see yourself as someone that's always struggling and, I never have enough money and things like that. So like I said, a lot of my audience, they don't believe it's possible for them. Maybe they have a lot of doubting family members.
I didn't believe it was possible either. That's why you got to connect to a mentor, someone else. You got to learn to believe in somebody else's belief in you. Ooh, let me say it again. You got to connect yourself with someone else who can see in you. There's something called Johari's window, where there's a part of us that we can't see, but others can see. And you got to be able to connect with someone who can see in you what you can't see in yourself. And then, like training wheels, you got to believe in their belief in you until your own belief kicks in. Garrett, most of my life, I didn't even believe in myself, right? But other people would say, I think you do it. And so I just didn't want to let them down, and I gave it a shot. And it worked. And one day I was like, wait a minute, why not just go ahead and believe in it? And so then I became what I call congruent. And that power of congruency, ooh, that's when you become irresistible, man. And so it's when what you believe on the inside matches with what you're saying. And so now it's extra pull power. As a matter of fact, when I travel and speak across the world, people always say to me, man, you are so convincing. I'm like, ain't wrong. I am convinced I said, now, because I'm convinced when I speak from a place of conviction. And when I speak from a place of conviction, people that hear me are convinced, but they're not convinced because I'm trying to convince them. They're convinced because I'm conveying what I believe from a place of conviction. So if you know what I just said, tell me, because I did. But anyway, real quick, but I wrote one of the books I wrote was How to Build a Big Team Fast. And it chronicles, I've been blessed to be the top of 7 different network marketing or home-based business companies. And one company, the greatest success I had was I personally sponsored 998 people that blossomed into 1.5 million people. Now, by the way, I wasn't the master distributor of that company. I was actually the international training director. They bought me on the beat, and I was like, I really like what you're doing. Do you mind if I build along, with it? And so I started building, and it just started exploding. And people said, "Man, what do you do to keep going to the top of all these? Some people can just do health products. Some people just can do digital. Some people you do all this stuff. Like, what do you?" And so I put it in the book, right? And it's called How to Build a Big Team Fast. And interesting enough, the very first chapter is, and by the way, this is not the new, like, you do a lot of stuff with tools and whatever else. This is just old-fashioned. Just straight, it's none of the new, stuff, but it's only like 100 pages, right? So it's easy read because I understand people, affiliate marketers, and network marketers, and people in business. But here's the thing: the very first chapter is work on yourself more than you work the system. See, people they want to, Garrett, teach me the how to, teach me all this, teach me all that. They don't understand, though. There's something called self-sabotage, where, again, I think I talked to you about this earlier, but breakthroughs occur when you beat the bullies that's in your brain. See, I wasn't the only one beaten by a teenage gang. You were being beaten. All of us, there's bullies in our brain, this low esteem, this I can't, this second guessing ourselves. And so when you learn to beat those bullies in your brain, you have a breakthrough. And the best way of doing it is having the proper mindset training. And so I talk about work on yourself while you work the system. Is what you say to yourself, is what you say about yourself, is how you see yourself. So I go through a lot of different things like that. And again, one lady she's like, look, I'm in corporate America. I've never been in home-based business. I probably never will. She said, but somebody gave me a copy of your book. She said, I think you should change the title, because this book helped me to be the best version of myself. And so I said, well, that's what I do in life. I said, but I know my target audience, it's people in home-based business. So I'm going to keep the title, How to Build a Big Team Fast. But I said, but I appreciate you saying that. And so, that's so true. It's all about, even in a martial arts, when it comes to a match, the other person could be more physically, have more physical acumen, but the other guy, guy or gal, they have the proper mindset, right? They will win every single time.